Hey, my name is Justin Williams from the Legion of Los Angeles, and welcome to the GCN show.
Welcome to the GCN show.
Coming up this week, we hear from the coolest man in cycling. Yes, we've got 20 questions with Justin Williams, plus he joins us for Hack or Bodge.
We're also talking about whether cyclists have a problem with respect after Primož Roglič goes down swinging after crashing out of the Vuelta.
Yeah, and we got news of the top US gravel racer heading to the Road Worlds, loads of new tech, and also a bike rack in mourning.
This week in the world of cycling, we learnt that Remco Evenepoel can win a Grand Tour, having sewn up the Vuelta España at the weekend at the age of just 22.
Yeah, in doing so, he became the first Belgian man to win a Grand Tour for 44 years, would you believe? The last being...
I don't know.
Johan de Munt, who won the Giro in 1978. Now, we also learned that while lightweight carbon fibre is the holy grail of the cycling tech world, concrete is also a viable alternative.
Look, check this out. The Play to DIY channel created a concrete bike that weighs 134.5 kilograms, and they even made a video showing you how to make it. We'll link that in the description below.
It's like a real-life Flintstone bike, isn't it? But it's also got no brakes. So imagine if that thing starts to build up a little bit of momentum down a hill.
That would not be good.
No, I think you as on the bike would die and probably everyone else around you.
Probably,
as well.
yeah.
Anyway.
That would be very scary.
It would.
Anyway, now last week, poor old Primož Roglič crashed out of the Vuelta, having looked like he was going to be giving Evenepoel a run for his money.
Yeah, it did, didn't it? Now, it's not completely clear what happened. You can see from the footage here, it's almost like someone hit the eject button, isn't it? But 2 days after it happened, his team, Jumbo-Visma, released a statement saying that it was the fault of young rider Fred Wright, who showed a lack of respect and hit Roglič from behind instead of putting on his brakes.
Let's take another look at it. To my mind, Wright looks like he holds his line, and Roglič swings prematurely, presumably having not have seen Wright was there.
Yeah, I mean, it is peculiar, isn't it? And it's also caused quite a bit of controversy. Not at the time when the accident happened, it just seemed like one of those really, heartbreaking race incidents because no one wanted to see Roglič out the Vuelta. But then subsequently, after the Jumbo-Visma statement, it has... Well, I don't know, there's a lot of people getting quite passionate about it.
Everybody's kicked off, yeah. Roglič accused the young rider of not having respect for older riders, but doing so is fairly disrespectful of young riders.
Yeah, young riders like Pogačar, he's pretty young.
Yep.
And Bernal, he's pretty young.
Yep.
Evenepoel, he's pretty young.
Yep, I think we get the point.
Yeah, and Ayuso as well.
Yeah, he's pretty much still a junior.
He basically is, isn't he? Yeah, a junior on a Grand Tour podium. Now, if you are familiar with this situation, I'd be very interested to hear your take on it, so get involved in the comment section.
Matej Mohoric is pretty familiar with this, and he basically said it is Roglic's fault. And he crashes all the time anyway.
He did say that, didn't he? Yeah. It got us thinking, though, didn't it, about whether pro cycling does have an issue with respect, but also more to the point, whether cycling as a whole has a problem with respect.
Yeah, well, I don't think there is much of a hierarchy in the pro peloton anymore, but why would there? Because most of the pros are pretty fresh-faced, being around 20-year-olds.
Yeah.
But I think cycling in a whole is in a much better place. It's more inclusive, more approachable, and a lot less judgmental.
Yeah, I think you're right, actually. I think cycling has moved on a long way, hasn't it, in the past, even just the past few years, and it's definitely still going in the right direction. But where there is an issue, I think, is out on the roads, and it's fundamentally between drivers and cyclists, isn't it? And it goes both ways as well. A lot of people harbouring real anger to the other people who just happen to be using a different mode of transport.
Yeah, it is easy to be disrespectful towards motorists who have the upper hand in a crash situation.
Yeah, you say that again, especially when you see how many people are on their phones when driving. But I've noticed there are even problems on bike paths as well. So much disrespect, even among cyclists, between cyclists and pedestrians, cyclists and cyclists.
Yeah, it's like all the anger grew on the internet forums and social media and has spread into the real life.
Yeah, I agree. I really agree. Let us know what you all think as well in the comment section down below. Is the issue of respect or lack of respect getting worse, and what can we do about it?
That's a good question. But speaking of respect, in different contexts, the UK was rocked by the death of the Queen last week, and the Tour Britain made the difficult decision to cancel the remaining 3 stages and end the race prematurely.
Yeah, it meant that the winner was Gonzalo Serrano of Movistar. A bit of a surprise, perhaps. Undoubtedly, it was the biggest win of his career.
It was, and also a truckload of UCI points to Movistar.
Yeah, and they will be very glad of those indeed.
They will.
Now, it wasn't, however, the strangest thing to get cancelled in the UK in relation to cycling last week in respect of the late Queen. I also saw on Twitter that a bike rack, as in a rack that you lock your bike to,
Yes.
has officially been closed for 12 days out of respect.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, seriously, have a look. This is it from Norwich County Council, a sign that you are not allowed to lock your bike up for 12
Very
days.
interesting. If anybody in the UK wants to just check their local bike rack, make sure they're feeling okay.
Yeah.
That would be great. But right now, it's time to head over to Justin Williams, who dropped into our humble mega base earlier this week.
I tell you what, I was pretty starstruck when he arrived.
Were you fanboying?
Massively, yeah.
I'm a little bit jealous.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. It's Justin Williams, the CEO, the founder of Legion LA, and still one of the big hitters as well. Welcome to the GCN HQ. What are you doing here?
I'm just in town to handle sponsorship business and kind of do the other side of the team, which is talk to sponsors, get deals done, hang out, show face, and get people stoked on the team.
That's so cool. Well, it is absolutely amazing that you've managed to fit in a bit of time. Because you're here, I want to throw 20 questions at you.
Oh,
okay?
let's do it.
Yeah, all right, quick fire questions. First of all, favourite race that you've ridden?
Under 23 Roubaix. It's my favorite race.
Oh,
It was
nice.
great. I still remember it. I still have the jersey with the number on it. It's in the closet. I'm going to frame it. Great.
That is cool. Okay, cycling cap, peak up or peak down?
No cycling cap for me.
Really?
Yeah, no cycling cap for me. It's funny because we have really cool cycling caps, and then I've collected a bunch of them, but I never wore them.
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't rain in California.
Well, fair enough, yeah. That's cool. We basically have to live in the UK. Right, do you obsess over your bike setup or do you just get on a ride?
Oh, I get in so much trouble from Corey for constantly moving my bike setup, so I'm very much obsessed. Everything from like the bolts, I put in these like gold anodized bolts, so like very obsessed over bike setup.
I like it. Cool. Okay. If you had to choose either road racing or crit racing, which would it be?
Crit racing, hands down. It's so fun. It's so like massively intense and dynamic, and like you're fighting every corner and you're trying to play this like chess game at 30 miles an hour while trying not to crash and also being in the right position to capitalize on what's happening in the race. And then at the end you have this, most of the time you have a massive sprint, which is good for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. Okay. What's the best bit? Pre-ride coffee or post-ride coffee?
That's a great question. I typically do both. There's a coffee shop right by my apartment, so I'll do both. I'll like meet up with friends that's a meet spot before we go out and train. We'll go out and train, and then I have a spot maybe 5 minutes away from the house, so I'll stop there, maybe grab lunch, a coffee, and then back to work.
Nice. What's your favourite type of coffee?
Flat white. Hands down.
There you go. All right. Okay. Leg warmers over or under your socks?
Oh my God, I knew this question was coming. I do both. If I have on the longer pants, the longer leggings, I'll do over. If I do leg warmers, I'll do under. But it just depends. If I want really cool socks, I'll just do under just because I want to show off the socks.
Yeah.
But it's a good question. I don't have a side, guys.
That's cool, actually. I like that very much. Okay, best day ever on a bike.
I won this race in Belize, which is where my family is from, and I represent Belize now. It's called the Cross Country Holy Saturday Cycling Classic. Long title. I won this race. My dad had done it for a really long time and he never won it. And I won this race. And from the morning that I woke up, I rode over to the race and I just had a feeling. And I rode the breakaway all day with Corey. And then I won it from a small group of maybe 6 or something. And that was like the best day. After the race, like my whole family gathered around. They made food. So we had food. And then, it's just like such a relief. Like, think of like the biggest accomplishment you could have for your dad. I basically did that and then got to enjoy it with my family in Belize. and my brother, and hands down.
That is cool,
best
man.
day.
Okay, same question, but worst day.
Oh, worst day. Oh man, when I was really young, I did this race, the Redland Cycling Classic in America. It's like a pretty famous race, and like some of the big American riders had come through and either won it or done it. And it was this Beaumont stage, and I remember like I didn't eat enough. The weather was bad. And I got dropped with like maybe 2 laps to go on the circuit. And I remember my team doctor riding opposite of the loop to come get me and riding back, and he was in flip-flops. And I couldn't keep up. Like I couldn't like keep up with him. I had like just didn't do my nutrition right. Was like overthinking the whole race. And it was early in the season. There's so many things wrong. And I remember sitting in the van going, I need to do something else.
That's pretty bad.
Worst day ever.
Yeah, okay. Just out of interest, what year was that? I did Redlands.
That was 2012 or 2013.
Okay.
It's one of those
After
years.
my time, yeah. Right, okay. The race you'd most love to win if you haven't already?
The race I would love to win. I'd love to win a world championships, actually. If I don't know if I have enough time to do it in the elites, but maybe Masters World Champion would still be amazing. I'm going to aim for that.
Nice, good answer. Is there an optimal sock height?
As high as you can make them. I love really high socks. I played football and basketball growing up. And football, like you typically have socks that go all the way up into your pants.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I like really long socks, especially Aero socks. Like if I race with Aero socks all the time, and those typically are really long. So I love long socks. It's right. I think the perfect height might be right to the calf.
Okay.
Right to the bottom of the calf. That might be perfect.
You heard it here. Right. I was actually going to ask you as well, basketball or football?
I have a deep love for football. My family's a football family. I got injured when I was young, so I couldn't play it like very deep, so I switched over to basketball. A lot of my heroes are in basketball, so I would say basketball.
Yeah. Moving swiftly on. Short, high-intensity intervals or long, steady rides?
Short intensity. Oh, my God. Short intensity. I come from a track background, so that's a lot of like punchy efforts, and plus that's like a lot of my riding style is really punchy. I love it. Short and punchy.
Yeah. What keeps you up at night?
Work. What keeps me up at night? I think that I'm at a point right now where there's so many things that I want to accomplish and I want to do. So I think the thing that keeps me up at night is missing those opportunities. I think when I was younger, I understand a lot of the opportunities that I miss now, in hindsight. So right now, just making sure that I make the most of everything that falls in front of me.
Yeah, I like that, man. That's cool. And then what motivates you?
Ooh, I think what motivates me the most is continuing to see the growth and diversity in the sport, seeing like a lot more people that look like me. When I was a kid, I used to show up to races and I didn't see very much representation, and I've been lucky enough to like really see the demographic change in not only the riding and the racing, but like the people that are attending races. So that's a really cool thing.
That is a very cool thing, actually. Yeah. Who is the fastest sprinter in your family?
That's a great question. Depends. If it's flat and fast, I am. If it's short and we're on a training ride and no one really cares, CJ is. And if it's really hard and like tough, then Corey is. Corey's like he's built for cycling. I always tell him I'm a bigger guy and he's like the perfect size. So like when it gets really tough or it's like undulating, Corey's a pretty good sprinter. I think he might be the best.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll ask Corey next. Cool. And then I don't know how long you've been in the UK, but LA or UK?
Ooh, that's a great question. I love London. I think I could live here. I grew up in LA. I'm originally from LA, so not tired of it, but I don't know if I could choose between the two. LA is home now, but I would love to spend more time here. So I'm gonna plead the fifth on that one.
Yeah, fair enough. You'd need to buy some
yeah,
hats.
I have to get some hats.
And then, most importantly of all, favourite GCN presenter, and obviously you don't have to say Simon if you don't want to.
Yeah,
I don't mind.
I'm gonna go with Ty.
Yeah, there we go. Great stuff. Right, thanks so much. That's so cool. Can I say as well, we've been talking before you arrived a little bit about respect in cycling and how there's a few people saying that there isn't enough respect. There isn't enough respect among racers or out on the roads, with car drivers and stuff like that. What's your take on it?
Yeah, I think that as far as like the people out on the road, it's hard because like you have to share the road and like you're out doing this thing that you love, that's good for you, that's bringing you physical health and mental health and a variety of other things like community and people that you can engage with and make you feel happy. So I think that if people that are in cars would just spend a bit of time out on the road, they would feel a lot differently about kind of like the way that they interact with cyclists. And ultimately, it's just a little bit of patience, right? If you're in a car and you have to wait to get by a cyclist, it doesn't take anything off you. It takes less than a minute off of whatever you were doing or trying to go to like just respect that space and that humanity. So I think that there's a little bit of work that could be done there. As far as the racing goes, I think that we as a community of cyclists just need to spend a bit more time with educating the younger riders that are coming up. I don't know if it's a respecting as if they're maliciously trying to do it. I think everybody's just trying to do their best to either get a result or help their teammate. And so there's just like a little bit of understanding that needs to happen. I think it's more like a unknowing of a problem than a doing it on purpose thing. So I think that if everyone could just be a little bit more patient with each other on both sides of things, it'll make life a lot better, a lot easier for us.
Yeah, I agree. It's got to be said. Justin, thanks so much.
No worries. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, I'm going to get you back in a minute for Hackle Bodge, so don't go anywhere.
Let's do it.
And now it's time for cycling shorts.
Cycling shorts now. The First Lady of Kenya, Rachel Ruto, was among thousands of people who turned out for the funeral of Suleiman Kangangi, the Kenyan ex-pro cyclist turned gravel racer who was tragically killed in a race in the US last month.
It's somewhat even more of a tragedy seeing the outpour of grief and tributes after his death, knowing how much he could have still achieved in life. Still, he already did so much, and it looks like he will leave a long-lasting legacy of riding in Kenya and a pathway to success.
Absolutely, yeah. Now, from one rider who went from road to off-road to another who's going off-road to road now. So US gravel and mountain bike superstar Keegan Svensson has just received the call-up to the US national road team for the World Championships. Now, according to Pro Cycling Stats, he has never done a UCI level road race before. Like, not at any level, let alone World Tour. But two reasons. Firstly, USA Cycling has had a really tough time selecting as they've got a small pool of available World Tour talent to choose from, particularly this year because of points battles, so teams not letting riders travel, illness, fatigue, Quinn Simmons, and also visa refusals for Lawson Craddock. So they've thought outside the box, and frankly, I think they're onto a good thing with Keegan.
I mean, you have to start somewhere.
Well, you do, yeah. Why not the Worlds?
Well, they actually said, we know he has a World Tour engine, and we know he's not intimidated by anything or anyone. And we know that the most incredible thing going on in road now is crossover riders diving from other disciplines. This is an amazing opportunity for Keegan to show his talent.
There we go then. I'm going to be watching that with interest, Manon, in a couple of weeks. Right, sticking with racing, the Pro Peloton bid farewell to Richie Porte last week. The Australian was racing the Tour of Britain, and it was to be his last race as a pro.
And as you all know, the race got cancelled, so he didn't get that, big momentous moment crossing the line, knowing it's his last race.
Yeah, it's a shame that, isn't it?
Yeah.
It did sound like it was pretty much ready to call time on it, so hopefully he's not too bothered. Personally, he goes down in my books as one of the nice guys of the peloton. If I can just have a moment to tell a personal racing story.
Story time aside.
Yeah, well, no, genuinely, one of my racing highlights of all time of my very mediocre career was riding across to a breakaway with him in the 2010 Tour of Britain. That was his first year racing as a pro after he led the Giro for so long. And it was one of the most painful moments of my entire career because I was absolutely turned inside out. And he turned around and went, "Oh, I bet you're enjoying this, mate. Like, come on then." And just the fact that this guy acknowledged my presence, and to put it in contrast, when he finally towed me across the break, Johnny Hoogerland, who was a pro at the time, then started having a massive go at me, shouting and swearing because I'd missed a couple of turns because I was turned inside out.
I mean, he wasn't intimidated by you, was he?
Who, Johnny Hoogerland? No. Or you mean Richie Port?
Richie Port.
He was not intimidated by me either. No. Well, as they had no reason to be. Anyway, I thought Richie was pretty blooming cool after that.
Hopefully he'll stick around in cycling, unlike this guy. Road CC reporting that a 73-year-old French cycling club president, no less, who raised eyebrows when he finished 16th in a 10-kilometre hill climb race.
Yes, an open hill climb race, and he also happened to be riding a bike that made suspicious whirring noises whilst he overtook his much younger competitors. Yes, he was duly busted for motor doping, although, it's not before denying it at first.
Well, these young riders have no respect these days.
They don't, do they? Now, there was a fair bit of stunning new tech last week that was launched. BMC launched a new bike called the Caius, which is a gravel race bike.
Looks like my cup of tea, that.
You going to do another gravel race?
I'll say no. Trek also launched a brand new version of their vulnerable endurance bike, the Domane, which has gone on a serious diet by the sounds of things. It can also fit 40mm tyres, which is blurring the boundaries between a road and a gravel bike quite a lot.
Yes, it is. And then finally, although it can fit 35mm tyres in, there is no denying that Canyon's new Ultimate is an out-and-out road bike. So Ollie, as you probably saw last week, took a good look at it in a video here on this channel, so make sure you check that one out.
Yeah, there's also an interview with the project engineer in it for some cool extra insight. Some new tech for this week, though, over on GCN Techs, where Alex takes a look at the brand new Wahoo Kicker and the Kicker bike. The big update being built-in Wi-Fi, so they no longer have to rely on Bluetooth connectivity.
Yeah, it feels a little bit like the next step in training development, that one. So it's faster, apparently, and it also stops those odd moments where your device drops the Bluetooth connection to your trainer. Plus, Wahoo say it's easier to update the firmware on it. Otherwise, Wahoo fans, you'll be pleased to hear that they look and perform like previous generations.
Well, most of them look the same as the previous version, but not this one.
No. I need to go and get it. Hold on one sec. Ta-da!
Wow.
Yes, fancy it? Right, it's up for grabs. It is up for grabs, and not only this exclusive GCN Kicker, but another lucky winner can also get their hands on a Wahoo Kicker bike as well.
That's 2 big competition prizes right there. To enter, click on the link in the description below.
Yes, right. Let me just remove that.
Not even any of us GCN presenters have one of those.
No, we don't, do we? So yeah, that's pretty unique.
Very lucky.
Right, whilst we're thinking about indoor training, a reminder that the Zwift Racing League kicks off this week, which is a super accessible way of racing. It's a great way of connecting with your mates, your cycling buddies, and also total randomers from the internet, as I have done before, and basically just competing with people of the same level as you in Zwift.
You might even find our very own Killian Kelly on there supplementing his Zwift Academy racing.
Yes, you might. Now, before we head over to Hack or Bodge, a quick shout out to say that the GCN shop has currently got a sale on with up to 30% off selected lines. So if you want to grab yourself a little bit of a bargain, maybe as we head into, well, a change of seasons, should we say at least, then go and check it out. I meant to say, yeah, check it out. shop.globalcyclingnetwork.com. We persuaded Justin to stick around for Hack/Bodge of the week. Yeah, that's good. That right, cool. So we're going to start off with this one from Jolly Giant. Carbon parts for Canyon Air Road. Okay, I've taken part in my first time trial at the age of 52. I did 25:32. That's not bad. So we have 10-mile time trials here in the UK. It's like a gold standard. That's pretty good. I thought if I could make it faster on a budget. Check it out, wrapping stuff in carbon. What do you think of that one?
I think that's amazing. That looks beautiful. He did a fantastic job. I love it. That's a hack.
A hack?
It's a hack.
There we go, right. Hack from Justin. I think that's a hack as well, actually. Although...
He put the gold sticker on it.
Yeah, that is pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah. Pretty cool.
You lot were split, actually. 49-51. More people said that was a bodge than a hack, but I think if you start messing around with carbon fibre, you're onto a good thing.
Yeah, right? As long as it's not structural, I think it's a hack. I think you're fine. When you start trying to hold stuff up, then that becomes dangerous.
Yeah, very good point. Okay, speaking of structural, Sean Guy 88 bike with split handlebars. They're worried about whether it's UCI legal. What do you think?
I mean, if you're trying to make it through a hole in a crit, then I think those bars might come in handy. But I'm gonna go ahead and say there's no use for that in normal life, so I'm gonna go Bodge on that one.
Yeah, I think I'm inclined to agree. Actually, I wouldn't like to see you sprinting on that bike. Just to be fair, no. 36% of you lot said that was a hack, so 65% said Bodge. I think we're fairly in agreement with that one. Drew Meister, a stand fix. So bike stand gaps were okay for my mountain bike, but not gravel and road. So I cut up a pool noodle. Simple. What do you think?
I think it's great. It's very innovative, and I like things to be precise. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that's a hack.
I'm inclined to agree. Justin, there we go. And 91% of you lot say that was a hack as well. Right then, the workbench. Old toothbrush chain cleaner. Cost zero. Use a single one for cassette and jockey wheels. What do you think about that?
That's a very, very, very interesting one. I get the concept. I'm sure, I think it's been done before. You could actually buy that. But if you're balling on a budget, then why not?
Well, there you go. So we're saying that's a hack?
I'm saying that's a hack.
That's a budget hack. There we go. The workbench, you got a thumbs up. 76% of you lot said that was a hack as well. And then we got one last one. This was actually sent in by the boss of Moots, whose boa on his shoe broke 12 miles into an epic 100-mile gravel ride. And he said that an ex-Boy Scout on the ride managed to tie a handy bow line, which is a knot for you connoisseurs out there, and he made it home. What do you reckon?
I was torn on this one. At first I was thinking Bodge, but if it gets you home, as long as it doesn't become the norm, I think it's a hack. I think it's a hack to get you home comfortably. Good job. I'll take it.
Yeah, that's cool. And what do we think of brown shoes and brown socks?
That's an absolute no from me. I'm not gonna co-sign that in the slightest. No, that's a no.
There we go then. Right. Well, that's never been judged by you lot, so we'll stick that up on the app and you can let us know. But maybe they're not like brown, maybe they're white and then they got gravelly.
Covered in gravel.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, that's it. You gotta have multiple shoes if you're gonna decide to do gravel stuff.
True. Justin, thanks very much.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
He's got a good taste in hacks or bodges, I think. We should.
Fair play to him. We should get him back another time.
We should actually get him back another time. Yes. Yeah, but hopefully we could all be here at the same time.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Maybe just don't fanboy him as hard next time. You might put him off.
Well, I was going to say, he might not come back.
Yeah, true.
Find me again.
Up.
But anyway, I'm sorry Justin, about that. Right, you can see I'm sat here holding a water bottle. It can only mean one thing. It's caption competition time now, so the part of the show where you get a chance to get your hands on a coveted GCN Elite water bottle. All you got to do is put a witty caption in the comment section down below that relates to a photograph we will give you shortly. But as always, it's results time first.
It is.
Okay.
I feel like we need like a little tune to intro the caption competition.
Are you volunteering?
No, I can't sing, but it'd be a nice little...
Do-do-do-boo-do-boo.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
A quick little something.
Right, here's the photo we gave you last week. Do-do-do-boo-do-boo.
Oh, and the winner was Tim Beckert. Look at my biceps. They are bigger than size.
Are we sure that was the winner? We're sure out of all of the hundreds of captions, that was the winner. Great. All right, Tim.
I think it's quite good.
Get in touch, Tim. We'll send you a GCN Elite water bottle. It's probably bigger than my biceps.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Okay, right then, moving swiftly on. This is the photo we're going to give you this week. This is Simone Valesco, and we've got a caption competition entry from over there.
If only I remembered to shave, I would have had the extra watts I needed.
Oh.
There you go. If only I'd remembered to shave, would have had the extra watts I needed. What do you think? Is that funny or not?
Yeah, I think that's quite good. Yeah, he's a pretty hairy guy.
There we go. Right, if you think you can beat that, then get involved in the comments section down below, and we'll get another GCN Elite water bottle out to you.
I thought you were going to say they're going to have to wrestle Isaac to get the water bottle.
Yeah, can we have the bottle back now, Isaac, please? Isaac,
back.
can we... Yeah, okay, right.
You're going to have to wrestle him.
We'll find it.
It's now time for Comment of the Week, where we picked out our favourite comments that you've been leaving underneath our videos. What's that?
Does this one get a jingle?
No jingle. Unless you want jingle again.
No, I have a feeling that you've probably got a jingle for this up your sleeve somewhere, but anyway, I don't know why I think that. Oh, right. Should we just crack on?
Yeah,
let's crack on. Okay, so in GCN versus the Pros, which went up on Sunday, where we got to see, frankly, how slow some of the GCN presenters, including me, have now got. Stefan Wagner said next time you should take an average estimated difference. So we all wrote down how much GCN would get beaten by, basically, before we started. And he suggested that we could then use that difference as a head start for the GCN team, so we end up with a sprint finish.
That would be good.
It would have been quite good as well. So maybe there's a rematch. Ribble guys, if you're interested in beating us again.
You better get training, son.
Just get, yeah. Well, either that or we just skew the results and say that we're going to get beaten by like 20 minutes and then we get a massive head start.
True, yeah.
So, I mean, we could just play it, but we wouldn't because we're obviously like, you know. Yeah, well, anyway, we will play it. Right, come on, let's move on.
Another comment under Beginner Amateur Pro, great video that Alex did. Steph Reese commented, nice to see Griff on the channel. I remember being part of the massive crowds that cheered him on when Tour Britain came to his hometown last year. And who was on the front? Griff, top guy, and I hope to see him more on the channel.
Well, there we go.
Griff is a super nice guy.
He was very cool, wasn't it? And I like the way that he smashed Alex.
Yeah.
Which was great. Also, Alexander Patterson was one of a chorus of voices shouting for more Phil, please. GCN's presenter of the people.
He is.
Don't forget, whilst he might be the presenter of the people, he is also an ex-pop star.
He is.
Let's have a little bit more of his music video, shall we?
Brilliant.
Yeah, I mean that is
Brilliant.
cracking. It's
gold.
Yeah, it's a wonder he didn't make it bigger, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean there's still time for him.
Yeah, there is. Well, now, yeah. Anyway, right, under the Canyon Ultimate first look, Sam C said, good that the cables are all internal. It makes putting a basket on the front easier. So I thought that was quite an interesting take on it.
Would you put a basket on it?
I wouldn't personally.
No.
I wouldn't put a handlebar bag on it either, but some people do.
Yeah, true.
Trendy types.
Another comment under last week's show from Robert. I never fell off because of clipless pedals. I simply ripped my shoe in half and put my foot down.
Was that the name of the bodybuilder, by any chance, that we had on the channel a couple of weeks back? How on earth do you rip a shoe in half? Out of blind panic?
I'm struggling to understand how this happens.
Well, obviously got stronger legs than us, Manon.
Clearly.
And then Maydog said, always check your lycra for wear. I think I know where this is going. The rear, nice way of putting it, can get transparent as it ages and it becomes apparent in direct sunlight to the horror of the riders on your wheel. And this is one of the main problems with white lycra as well, because it doesn't take long for that to be see-through.
No, true. I mean,
But,
it does happen to black shorts as well. I've seen a fair few transparent cycling shorts on my time.
Yeah. Yeah, anyway, watch out, people.
Moving on.
Yeah.
And under the Master of Power Inside Training Peaks, Mike commented, those are some very impressive numbers, Mr. Bridgewood. 830 watts, 20-minute power, and an FTP of 788 watts. Lol, might need to calibrate that power meter.
That does seem quite big, even for Ollie.
Is he hiding something?
I don't know. I mean, you can't even sprint at 788 watts.
True.
On most days. So yeah.
Interesting.
That is a bit weird that he's got that snuck away on his training piece, isn't it? Why, Ollie? Why? Anyway, I'm sure he was probably doing some top secret scientific testing. So we'll find out in due course.
Explanation.
Yeah, right then. What is coming up on the GCN channel this week, Manon?
On Wednesday, we have How to Train for 100 Miles. And on Thursday, we have 7 beginner mistakes. And on Friday, Killian Kelly does the Zwift Academy.
That's right. Killian's starting. Connor is his taskmaster back here again as well.
Nice little Irish duo, aren't they?
They are indeed. Although Connor seems to be a bit harsh.
I can imagine
honest.
Connor being
Yeah.
harsh.
Anyway, so we'll see how that pans out. On Saturday, you asked for it. We've done it. Less retro time trial bike versus modern aero bike. So we have got hold of one of Greg LeMond's actual TT bikes.
This is very exciting.
Yeah, to see whether or not that modification, aeroband modification, makes the difference. And we might also have got a Lotus as well. Snuck away somewhere. And then on Sunday, I cannot wait to watch this. So Hank disappeared off on a 580 kilometre long epic gravel ride, the new Old Chalk Way route here in the UK, just to do it.
Basically, we tried to break him again.
Yeah, I think we got pretty close this time.
We did.
Yeah, so anyway, stay tuned for that. That's on Sunday. And then over on GCN Plus, there is loads of stuff going on at the moment. It is a really busy time for racing at the minute. Plus cyclocross is kicking off, but really it's the warm-up to the World Champs, which is going to be absolutely fascinating. And then the GCN Plus documentary this week is RAM. So the Race Across America, The Reckoning. This is showtime for Mark Beaumont and John Schubert, and you have to watch it. It is a proper cracking film, that one. So a bit of an emotional nail biter.
Don't ruin it. Don't say too much.
Okay, just go and watch it. You really should. Anyway, there we go. That's it for this week, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I think we've covered everything.
We've covered everything. We've had Justin Williams on the show. What a week.
Gutted I didn't get to meet him.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
It's all right.
if you
I
do
know
take-
you wanted to.
Well, yeah, and if you do take extended lunch breaks, I mean, what's the guy supposed to do? He's hung around for hours. Is Manon going to be here? Yeah, anytime soon, Justin. She's just getting a bagel.
I'll check out panini.
Right, anyway, we'll see you lot back here next week. Give us a like if you're still here.
Comment as well whilst you're there.
Yeah, subscribe.